What's up, guys? Back with me is we're at Smallville, Season 3, Episode 8, Shattered. Okay, so this episode starts off as this, like, a band, at this, like, place where this guy's giving this other guy, like, a new face, and Lex shows up, and he's like, hey, Morgan Edge, and yes, Morgan Edge is back, but with a different face and a different actor. So, yeah. So he's like, what are you doing here, Lex? And he's like, I know that me and you and my dad were best friends. I was best friends. So yeah. So Lex is hanging out is at the loser mansion when Darius gives them like a drink, but an assassin tries to shoot him, and he jumps out the window, and he's like, hey Clark, someone's after me. So yeah. So yeah. So Clark's trying to befriend Lex, and he's also trying to figure out what's up with Lex, and Lionel's like, hey, Lex is very sick, and you need to bring me back with Lex. And he goes to Lex, and he's like, hey Clark, you're gonna wake the baby, and he's like, who? And he's like, my brother Julian. And yeah, Lex is just, I don't know if this is Lex insane or Lex actually thinks this, because he did see father talking to Clark. He's like, there's something going on with Lex. Chloe has him for now, but he thinks that he's seeing his dead brother Julian, and and Lex shows up, and he's like, oh, you guys are just talking behind my back. And he's like, Lex, we're no. He's like, oh, Clark, oh, Clark, if you're with me, come on. But if you don't trust me, then don't. So but Martha and John are like, Clark goes with him, and he goes to a place where he's thought Morgan was that, but there's a bunch of like foreign workers working there, and they tell him to get out. But then Lex goes to where Morgan Edge is, and he's like, hey Cal, and he's like, wait. He's like, wait, what? Clark, you were working against me. He's like, and he tries to shoot Morgan Edge, but he's like, hey Clark, I know your weakness, so that's why I created a kryptonite necklace. That's what Morgan Edge says to Clark. And I just think it's very funny hearing Morgan Edge say Clark's name as Cal, even though it's not the same actor. But Lex, get more. Morgan Edge Lex shoots him, but Morgan Edge disappears because so it means Morgan Edge is obviously gonna come back or not. I don't know. He's like, I can't believe you're working against me, Clark. How do you know Morgan Edge? I can't believe you were working against me. He's like, Lex, it's not what you think. And yeah, so yeah, and yeah, Lex, and then there's very close back to him when Clark blows up, revealing his powers to Lex. And Lex is like, Clark, it was you. You're the one that saved me that day with your powers. And yeah, and then that's when Lex tried to help her. Lex stopped. So Lex goes to Darius, and he's like, hey Darius, you're drugging Lex. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, how? He's like, with scotch. And he's like, who are you working for? And I can't tell you. And he's like, why? Or I'll break your arm or something. And he's like, because the people I work for are powerful. Yeah. So Lex before that went to hang out with Lana, but she thought that he thought that she was drugging him. he hit her against her horse stable. It freaked out her horse, and she went down under her horse's hooves, probably breaking her leg or something. And then Lex thought that everyone's against him, so he tried. Yeah, so Lex, he tried to tell his psychiatrist, "Hey, Clark, you saw him, right?" He's like, "Saw who?" And yeah, Lex gets sent to a hospital, like Bell, I think called Bell Reeve. Yeah, where, yeah. So Lionel's like, "Hey, how long is it gonna work?" And he's like, "I don't know how long it's gonna." He wants to erase Lex's memory of the 7 weeks, so Lex doesn't know about Lex looking into Lionel's parents' death. Yeah, so he's like, "You better get working, doctor," or yeah, yeah. So Chloe tells Clark that to protect her or something. He needs to stay away from her, and Clark's pretty destroyed by this, but yeah, and basically that's how the episode ends. Okay, so he pretty scared me this episode. He pretty scared me. I'm glad he got help, but he kind of scared me. And yeah, Morgan Edge. It may be a new actor, but still, Morgan Edge is bad. I don't know if we're ever gonna see him again. He kind of just, after like, kind of shot me, just disappeared. And like said Edge, and he just disappeared. So, don't know what happened to him. So, yeah. So, like, comment, subscribe, because have a wonderful day. I'll see you next Smallville. We shall see you next episode, because I'm doing episode 9.